Hey guys, good night, good night, good night. Um, Happy Sunday. I see Cynthia is on already. Herbert Towselin has been on from maybe about 5 minutes before. I see so many persons on. Uh, Welcome to another edition of the Natural Alternative Live Q&A. Everything is not going to be up and running. Last week was my first uh, experience using the software, and I must say it's a phenomenal software. And I really see it. I see uh, Tutor joining in. Colleen and Sophia are here from Canada. Very good. When you're coming, just tell us where you're from. Let me big you up, guys. I see Phyllis. Phyllis is watching from Canada. All right, so I want to welcome everyone. We have 12 persons on so far, and we have an exciting show. So I've extended the show to 2 hours. So let me know if you think that was a good idea. Extending the show to 2 hours, and I've created some segments that I believe is going to be phenomenal. So let me just talk you through what to expect tonight. We'll be having it's a Q&A. So as I said, the last component I tried vehemently, desperately to get it up, and that is our phone line. Next week I see us having that. So I hopefully I see us having that. So tonight I'll have to take the Q&As on our chat. And so we're gonna start out talking about the herb walk. If you watched the herb walk earlier today at 3 o'clock. And then we're going to be having the indigenous Caribbean health, or indigenous health, a segment called Indigenous Health. We'll be looking at Caribbean breakthroughs. What are this breakthroughs in the scientific community that will help advance the work of indigenous medicine? This week I was at the University of the West Indies, spoke to a number of persons there, and I went to a number of departments and faculties, and one of them is going to be on tonight. So we have a guest from the University of the West Indies, who is Dr. David Picking, and he'll be speaking to us from the Natural Products Institute. He'll be coming on. We have a segment called Product Spotlight, and then in Product Spotlight, we talk about different products that, from experience or from the testimonials of others, have proven to be phenomenal. Then we have our natural remedies. We're not going to have that tonight, but we intend to have a segment called Natural Remedies, where we share easy to make natural remedies for common ailments. And we also discuss ingredients and how to use them safely. And then our last program is going to be our wellness report. And in our wellness report, we want to feature real life examples where natural alternatives has been successful, and discuss the outcomes and the lessons learned from that. So we have these are the segments that we intend to have in our show. And so we want to highlight products. Tonight my guest is I'm trying to have a special guest tonight who will be sharing with us how he reversed end stage prostate cancer, end stage prostate cancer using natural remedies. And so tonight I'm excited. We're going to be taking questions, and I'll tell you when we reach the question stage. Bet Boy, nice to have you from Canada. We have a lot of persons from Canada on the show tonight, and that's good. My son is here in studio, and he's going to be sharing with us about the upcoming ICM Herb Walk retreat that's coming up next month in July 23. So Joshua is in the studio with me tonight, and he'll be talking a little bit about the Herb Walk. All right, so we have lots of activities, lots of segments, and this is our second show. So I want you to tell me what you think about the second show. Tell me what you think about us running for 2 hours. I don't know. Once we go into the questions and answers, we might go further. but I'm excited to be here tonight. Thank you, all of you that have been on the Rattigan show. Those of you that have been on the Rattigan show who are coming over and joining us. So in the description of this video, there are some links. I know a number of persons have been finding it difficult in contacting me. We have some links in the description. So please check the description. If you want to contact me, please check the description. There's a link that should have been there that's not there. As a matter of fact, there are 2 links that should have been there that are not there. Good night, tutor. Right, from the Rattigan show. And I know Bet Boy, I saw you last night on the Rattigan show, Cynthia. And so this is the platform where we're going to take a lot more questions than we're able to take on the Rattigan show, because this is centered around health, even though that is centered around health. And I don't want to, cross-lap, but I'm glad to have you here. So if you're trying to contact me, there's a link in the description. Also, for those persons who have so far participated in the amazing gallbladder and liver flush, we want to hear from you. We want to hear how that product has helped you. So if there's anyone here on the platform, then we want to hear from you. All right. So tonight I want to start out by looking at the 60 minutes with Mother Nature. You're trying to see the recipe for the liver gallbladder cleanse. That's Gary. All right, Gary. So it's in the description. So what happens? It's kind of challenging to go through the instructions how to make it as well as how to take it. So we have a link in the description. If you look in the description of this particular video, there's a link in the description where you can actually purchase that tutorial video. And then I do recommend for persons to call in so that or book an appointment so that we can walk you through the steps of the 10-day detox. So we're pretty much promoting not just the liver flush, but the liver flush and the amazing gallbladder flush, the 10-day detox. Sorry. Welcome, Annie. Greetings. Tell us where you're watching from, Annie. We want to know where you're from. Gary Beckford, where are you joining us from? We want to know that us. We don't just want to see you. We want to know where you're joining us from. All right. So we had a phenomenal show, Portmore. Oh, wonderful. You're here in Jamaica. So at 3 o'clock today, 3 p.m. every Sunday is when our 60 Minutes with Mother Nature is aired. And I wanted to know if, when you watched it, if you have any questions from that particular series. We did feature a number of herbs. We featured marigold. We had Cynthia's from Colorado. Nice, Cynthia. Thank you. All right, so send the link out to some more persons. Let them know that we have started. Let them know that the Natural Alternative live Q&A is on. Welcome to those of us watching on Facebook. For those of us that are on our Facebook page, we want to welcome you. I don't know, some things might not be in the description on Facebook. I'm not sure. As I said, I'm very new to using this platform. But I know for sure, because I'm more experienced with YouTube, all of what I'm talking about is on our YouTube page. Yes, Annie, so you are watching today. Do you have any questions from today? Do you have any questions from today based on watching the 60 Minutes series today? All right. Yes? All right, go ahead. What question? So the first segment of the show basically is geared towards looking at the 60 Minutes with Mother Nature, because we used to do it as a live, but we can't because some of the places that we go, we just don't have good reception. So we were getting a lot of poor quality videos. So we decided to record and then to post and try to maybe use this segment. All right. All right. Gary Beckford, you're in Georgia. Wonderful. All right. So 2 of the links that should have been in the description. One of them is for persons. I'm going to be in New York, June 10 to 15. And I'm going to be in Florida, June 17 to 21. There are 2 links there. Marie, watching from Canada. Welcome, Marie. It's good to have you. I am loved by God is joining us from Michigan. Welcome, I am loved by God. We're glad to have you here. And how do we prepare the herbs? How much to take and how often? All right, so typically there are standard guidelines as it relates to taking pretty much any herb. Outside of the standard, night, I'm watching from Fort Lauderdale. I already made an appointment for Thursday, but I want to know how I could make an appointment for someone to see you in St. Thomas, Jamaica. All right, so just fill that into there's a form there, you can just fill that in. Marcia Ramsey, greetings. We're joining us from Marcia. So back to Annie's question. What is the dosage? Now, that's one of the challenging areas as it relates to herbs. It's one of the challenging areas because in the medical field, that's where one of the challenges are. And so there are certain standard guidelines. Outside of these standard guidelines that I'm going to talk about, persons have to take weight based on certain body weight. So these guidelines that I'm going to give you is for persons within the average body weight, which is about for females about 110 to 135. And for men, it's between 150 to about 170. That's what they call the average, in that ballpark, the average weight. So what we have to do, first of all, is that we have to dehydrate the herbs. We have to dehydrate the herbs, and then we have to bring it to a dosageable format. And primarily we do that by drying and then pulverizing, whether by using a mortar as they used to do, or using you use a blender or a herb grinder. Once you have done that, then the herb, and this is standard across the board, it's one teaspoon to 1 cup boiling water. All right, that's for the herb powder. And then for the capsule, it's about 250 milligram, because herbs can be taken in different forms. So for tea, it's 1 teaspoon to 1 cup boiling water. If it's a capsule, it's about 250 milligram per adult. If it is tincture, it's about 25 to 50 drops or 60 drops 3 times per day to an ounce of water. And for decoction, it's about an ounce. So it varies on the form that you're taking the medicine in, and it also varies based on the weight. There's different guidelines for children as well as people who are overweight, because if you're overweight, then the dosage may not be effective. Doctor, I would like to know what is good to get the kidney back up. It's on the lower side in the 50s. All right. So no, what I'm going to say to you, Mary, is a good question. That's even though I was expecting more questions about the herb walk, but I'll still answer. Paula Armsby. Hey, Miss Armsby. Good to have you. I haven't seen you in a long time, Paula. I haven't seen you in a long time. All right. So usually the kidney is calcified. And so one of the first thing you want to do is maybe you want to go to your healthcare provider, and you want to get, and I'm saying this because the fact that you mentioned the 50s means that your question is actually based on tests being done. All right. So once you do the kidney test, that kidney test, that urinalysis or blood test will tell you what your mineral levels are. And so that's what you're going to use to guide you. A lot of times, persons have a calcified kidney where the kidney is not absorbing or is not functioning as it should. And so one of the things that you want to use is salty herbs. All right. So salty herbs like celery are very effective in getting rid of the calcification. And there's so much that I could say about calcification, Marie. Corn silk is a very good herb. For some persons, it may not be filtering properly. We actually have a product called Kidney Tonic, which does an excellent job of helping to restore the kidney to its function. But the properties that you're looking for in herbs for the kidneys are diuretic properties. You're looking for decalcification properties, which you get, as I said, from salty herbs. So any herb that you taste, when you taste it salty, like corn silk is salty, like celery, that's salty. Any herb like that will pretty much help the kidney. Like pendula is a salty herb. These are herbs that help to decalcify the kidney so the kidney can start functioning. And of course, I would be able to give you a more specific answer if I knew more about your condition. So I'd really love to hear from you, Marie. There's a link in the description where you can either book a consultation or you can message me. There's a contact form that you can fill that out and give more specific details so that I can talk to you. And I talk a lot about the contact, the booking, because guys, this week I try to facilitate persons, because when it comes down to people's health, one of the things that has been very challenging for me is being able to give persons the attention that I would want to give them. It's very difficult to give persons attention because right now my time is so limited. So when a person books a consultation, that's one of the safest way to ensure that we're going to have a discussion. Cannot remember the name of the herb that's good for stomach you mentioned today in the walk. Is there another herb? Yeah, I think that was I mentioned what they call the slippery elm or the West Indian elm. I did mention that, and I did mention the matico, right, or the cardancilla negro. These are herbs that are very good for the stomach if you're having stomach acidity. Alfred Henry, it's good to have you. Where are you joining us from? Tell us where you're joining us from. All right. What herbs are good for the lungs? No, when I answer a question like that, I don't just like to answer in terms of the name. Right. So yeah, fill out the form, Marie. Thanks, Amber. Fill out the form. Welcome, Welton Codner. Tell us where you're joining from, Welton. Henry Alfred, tell us where you're joining from. We want to know where you're joining from. We have 44 persons on the live, and that's just phenomenal. All right, so I want to spend a few minutes. Oh, you're from St. Anne. Wonderful. So I wanted to talk about these herbs from the 60 minutes session, and I wanted to take questions. But I have a guest tonight. And you'll get the chance to ask questions. You're living in Old Harbor. We have a guest tonight, Dr. David Picking. He'll be joining us tonight at 7:18. He'll be joining us at 7:25. He'll be joining us at 7:25, and we're going to be talking about NPI, the Natural Products Institute, and what's happening over there. This is Poggy Doctor. Oh, Alfred, Poggy, big up Poggy. This is one of my schoolmates from Nakalva. One of my as I would say, senior man. So it's good to have you, senior man. I'd love to hear from you, Alfred, because I believe you're still working agriculture. That's related to herbs. I think you're at RADA, if I'm not mistaken. Annie is asking, how do interested persons access the herbs? I don't understand that question, Annie. I don't know if you need to rephrase that question. Yeah, man. Yeah, you're with so I don't understand how you mean access to herbs. How do you mean access to herbs? I don't understand what you mean. All right. So let me know what you mean. But Poggy, reach out to me. I'm so proud of you too. I want to feature you. I want Jamaica to know about the work that you're doing, because we want to bring on this platform everything that is related to herbs. And so I have persons from the Scientific Research Council slated to come on, from the Bureau of Standards that is to come on. We have a couple of persons from the University of the West Indies, because we want to validate, we want to plug in all the different stakeholders who need to be plugged in. Persons from the forestry department, all the areas related to herbs, we want to plug them in, because one of my goals, guys, is to make Jamaica the wellness mecca of the Caribbean. Jamaica is supposed to be the wellness mecca of the Caribbean. And by extension, I see that wellness mecca being centered in Portland and in St. Thomas. All right. Floyd McPherson, I know that name. Good evening. I think that's another batchmate from Nakalva, Floyd McPherson. Tell us where you're watching from, Floyd. Paula, you said you lost my number. I don't want to give out my number. There are forms in the description. So Alfred, there's a form there that says contact form. Fill it out. Just make sure that you put your names and of course your relevant information. And I'll ask my my assistant to reach out to you. I'll reach out to you. All right. Alfred, oh my, I'm sorry to hear that. So you've been seriously injured by the Pfizer vaccine since 2021. No, man, we need to connect. Floyd McPherson, watching, Paul, you're watching from Florida. McPherson, you're in Kingston. All right, so you know, I'm happy because I'm getting the chance to connect with persons that I haven't connected with a long time. So, guys, I want to welcome you to the Natural Alternative. In this segment, we're looking on the video that Floyd McPherson, definitely batchmate. Floyd McPherson. Or we're batchmates. All right. All right. So please fill out the form. I need to connect with you as well. All right. So we're looking at the 60 minutes with Mother Nature walk. We have an upcoming herb walk June 23rd. That's next month. And on our herb walk last week, on our herb walk that was here today, you saw where we found a water hole. And you know, we have a number of herb walk trails, and we want to definitely bring persons on it. I have so much plans for our herb walk. So we're starting out light, which is by doing these herb walks, but then I intend to have herb walk, not just herb walk, but herb walk retreat weekends. There are some plans that I want to, you know, expose you to. You know, I noticed that you took on the role of a student today on the herb walk. You allowed the RAS to lead. Very humble. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Pops is an elder in the faith. You know, we have to give respect where respect is due, because you know, I may teach, but I'm still a student. I'm still a student of life, and I'm still a student of nature. Skarian Samuda. Hey, Skarian, how you doing? Tell us where you're joining us from, Skarian. All right, so it's now 7:23, and we're getting ready to have our first guest on, and that is Dr. David Picking, and he'll be here soon. He'll be here soon, and we intend for him to share with you just how powerful he's doing some work over there in Kingston at the University of the West Indies. Let me just reach out to him and let him know that we're almost ready. He was here. I actually sent him the wrong time. So here. Josh. All right, so you're from Ochoras. All right, so no, you don't have to leave. Just tell him that we to log back in.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Picking.
All right, so we're getting ready to have our first guest on, Dr. Picking, and he'll be joining us. And he is from the Natural Products Institute. All right, so he's having a little technical difficulties joining, but he'll be here in a little while. All right, so any other questions from the herb walk today, guys? All right, any other? Oh, here he is. All right, so good, he's here. All right, so I want to welcome this evening, Dr. Picking, and he'll be our first guest. And as I said, guys, I'm still learning to use a platform. Still learning to use a platform. So bear with me. All right, so here he is, Dr. Picking. And thank you, sir, for joining us tonight.
Hi, Dr. Ben. Thanks very much for the invitation.
All right.
Good to see you.
Right, wonderful. So it's last week I took the liberty to visit the University of the West Indies because I wanted to connect with persons in what I call Jamaica's intellectual community to look at what are the works being done there, number one, and number two, to see how I can collaborate. I'm basically on a drive to promote what I call the Indigenous Caribbean Medicine Initiative, which is really an initiative that has a number of pronged approach to it. One of them is to see indigenous medicine, a structured, a formal approach to medicine coming out of Jamaica and the Caribbean, because we have a medicine that is so unique. There are millions of Jamaicans outside of Jamaica who this is the medicine that they have known. And, I met so many persons at the university who have been doing phenomenal work. You are from what I believe to be the Natural Products Institute, and you have been doing so much work in the field of work from an academic perspective, and a lot of that work I believe is not featured. We have so many persons on tonight and so many persons who will be watching after. What exactly is the Natural Products Institute?
Well, actually, to be contentious, it no longer exists.
As you were telling me, that it's now merged.
Yeah. So what's happened? NPI, the Natural Products Institute, had been going for a good number of years, but the university decided to merge it. So it's merged with a couple of other entities, particularly the Biotechnology Center. Mm-hmm. So that new center is now, I have to keep checking because I keep forgetting what we're called, but it's the Caribbean Center for Research in Bioscience.
Okay. And what type of work is carried on there?
Yeah, so everything to do with, a lot of our focus is on natural products, which could be plant-based, it could be marine-based, but predominantly terrestrial plants. Dr. Ben, as you probably said, my background is as a medical herbalist. I did my PhD at UE. That's why
I'm trying to look for your bio. I lost it.
No problem.
I lost it.
So the work of what was the Natural Products Institute, now what we call CCRIB, so just to make it easier, so a mouthful otherwise, CCRIB, focuses on natural products. So we've got a broad spectrum of different academics doing different work. Notably, I think there's 7 or 8 of us. Dr. Sylvia Mitchell, she's been doing a lot of work over many years in Jamaica. She does a lot of work around tissue culture, very much on the biotechnology side. Prof. Delgado, who's my boss, she's been really doing phenomenal work. She set up probably one of the first, if not the first, cancer cell line laboratories in the Caribbean. So that's really looking at the bioactivity of many of our natural products and testing their anti-cancer properties. We've got Dr. Sheena Francis. Dr. Sheena Francis is really leading from the front. She's doing a lot of fantastic work on mosquito and what we call vector control, because the mosquito carries disease. So looking at the resistance, because the mosquitoes actually, they're smart little critters. They very quickly develop resistance. So we go out there and spray, and, well, I won't get into the political aspect of spraying, but most of our mosquitoes, particularly in Kingston, are resistant to the spray that is being fogged every few weeks. Right. So her work focuses on documenting that and looking at it from an international perspective, and then looking at whether there are natural products that we could actually be utilizing in either in combination with those chemicals or in place of those chemicals. So her work is really good. We recently attracted an international ethnobotanist. She's formerly at the New York Botanical Garden, Dr. Ina Vanderbroek. She and I have been doing a lot of work together. So Dr. Vanderbroek is now part of our team, which is a real coup for us because she's very well respected internationally. We have Professor Marcia Roy, who's been leading a lot of work across Jamaica for many, many years in the Biotechnology Center. And then my work is, I trained as a medical herbalist. So when I turned up in Jamaica, they weren't quite sure what to do with me. So I actually went out into the field and did something called a trammel survey, which, we can talk more about, but that was the first.
Yeah. And that's where I first came across your name. Because and for those who are watching, a medical herbalist, what is it? Why would a person train to become a medical herbalist? What's the purpose of a medical herbalist? Because there are many persons who are watching who may not know who a medical herbalist is, or what's the purpose or the function of a medical herbalist.
Okay, so I trained at a university in London. I went back as a mature student. Like yourself, Dr. Ben, I trained initially as a naturopath. And then everyone kept saying to me, no, but you have to have a speciality. So, I went into each of the clinics and I sat, and the one that really hit me was a case actually of a young woman with PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. And I sat in that clinic, which was a teaching clinic, and this beautiful young woman came in and she said, I have to stop taking all of my herbs because I'm pregnant. And everyone was really excited, and I couldn't kind of understand why all the excitement. But apparently she'd been coming to the clinic for 2 years.
Wow.
When she first came to the clinic, she was losing her hair. This was a young woman in her 20s. She was going bald. She had a lot of acne. She was starting to get body hair, classic symptoms of PCOS.
Mm-hmm.
And they worked with her using botanical medicine. And that was the result. Full head of hair, no acne. And the young woman had fallen pregnant, gotten pregnant.
Wow.
So,
a lot of, sorry to cut you off, but a lot of medical herbalists also work between medical doctors and herbalists. So they kind of work as interpreters in helping because medical doctors are not trained to use herbs. So medical herbalists kind of understand the language of herbalists, and they basically help medical doctors, especially in clinics where there is both allopathic medicine and naturopathic medicine, that you work as a bridge between helping medical doctors know how to work along with naturopath.
And you've nailed it there. And I think that in an ideal world, we would have a fully integrative healthcare system. And that was the vision for the School of Integrated Health. We had the largest teaching clinic in Western Europe. So, so the idea is you work collaboratively with medical doctors. You wouldn't, take somebody off their meds unless you'd consulted with their medical team, and you do it in an integrated way.
Right.
But as a medical herbalist, the training is pretty rigorous. I had to do 500 clinic hours taking patients and working in that way. So the trammel, taking that theme of integrative medicine, the trammel database, which has been going since 1984, is this amazing network across the Caribbean, lots of Caribbean islands, but also a lot of the countries that border the Caribbean basin. And the vision there was people are using plant medicine. They're keeping themselves healthy. They're treating health conditions. How do we take that knowledge and actually integrate it more in each of those countries into the primary healthcare system? And that was the vision for the Trammel Network. And so the starting point is actually to do surveys and then identify the most useful plants that people themselves identify, and then look at, okay, well, let's go into the laboratory and, perhaps we can prove. We don't need to prove it if there's a long history, but we can give data support. We can show that there is actually efficacy there. And in some cases, not very many, but in 1 or 2 cases, we may pick up a plant that is toxic, or a particular part of a plant is toxic, and then we can warn people not to, use that particular plant. So So the Trammel network has been going for 40 odd years, and it's all volunteers.
Wow.
That's the amazing thing, and it's still going. So now there's, I think, 25 countries have completed surveys, and there's about 12 countries where laboratories are doing, this work.
So you're saying Trammel has been tasked with this responsibility in going across the islands of the Caribbean and identifying and recording the medicinal herbs, because that's part of the problem here in Jamaica and the Caribbean. One of the reasons why we don't have a robust, medical herbal system is because we haven't done a very good job in identifying the herbs and identifying the medicinal components of the herbs. Whereas traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, they've done a pretty good job in documenting and recording that. I mean, maybe it was in place, and during slavery it was destroyed, or maybe there was a effort during the period of slavery to prevent recording from happening. But you're saying Trammel from the 80s has been doing a phenomenal job in going across Jamaica and the Caribbean and recording medicinal herbs.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm brutally honest, the Trammel network, because it's volunteers, the Trammel network could be doing so much more. Now, that's not a criticism of Trammel. The challenge always, as you know, Dr. Ben, the challenge with our area, botanical medicine, is funding. And I can't emphasize that enough. It's the challenge of funding. And as you say, for cultural reasons, the Caribbean and Africa has not had culturally, because it's the culture in Africa is basically connection with the ancestors and that knowledge passing down, and it's an oral. And some people would say it's not just oral, it's actually now in the present connecting with ancestral knowledge. So a lot of stuff hasn't been written down, but so the challenge now is to start to document that and put it into what we call pharmacopoeias. And a lot of those plants were, like, take for example sarsaparilla. Sarsaparilla, as everybody knows, is a really useful plant that was picked up going back to 1680, I think, and was documented and actually was put into the European pharmacopoeias and recorded because it was used to treat syphilis. And in fact, it was listed in those pharmacopoeias. And we can talk more about what a pharmacopoeia is. That was listed until 1948 with, the advent of antibiotics. So, yeah.
And so so right now we're basically on our way to seeing a number of, we're coming out of that stage of obscurity. So guidance now, NPI, Natural Products Institute, because that sounds like an entity that goes beyond just identifying herb and the medicinal, but also helping to convert those herbs into derivatives or byproducts that we can now utilize. Because part of my challenge, Dr. Picking, as you know, is that I believe that for a country that has gained independence, we haven't done enough to medicinally take care of ourselves, and we have not done enough to feed ourselves. And part of that, is because we have a lot of knowledge, because I came to you and I found out that there's a reservoir of knowledge there, but that knowledge is not being translated to practical implementations that benefit the Jamaican people. And so that is why on this show, I want to get the scientific community, I want Jamaicans to know about what is available at the University of the West Indies, and how we can put sometimes pressure on our electorates to put in place structured programs that can result in meaningful, tangible result for the Jamaican people. We just lost Dr. Picking. Okay. For those of you that, let me just take some questions. I am extremely interested in learning about herbs as well as the whole science of herbal medicine. Then you need to go to our Wealth, and you need to go to our website or YouTube channel. And there's a link in the description of our YouTube of this video. It's entitled Kinder Wellness Community. That's where you can start. We actually do have a college, Boston Institute of Natural Medicine. We're doing some restructuring there, so the courses are not up, but we're gonna get them up. I heard somebody say that they've been to our website, and I don't know which site, because we do have some sites that are not really functional. But I just put the site in the description. I just put in the description the site that you need to go, which is our ICM Wellness Marketplace. That's the site that you need to go to, and that will get you up and running. So ICMWellnessMarketplace.com, that is the site to be. Dr. Picking is back. Welcome, Dr. Pickings. Sorry we just talked a while ago. We know that these technicalities will come up. So as you were saying, so to talk to us with NPI, what's their involvement with the Scientific Research Council, the Bureau of Standard, or is there any collaboration or connection with these agencies?
Yeah, I mean, wherever we can, we collaborate. You know, if there's a project that comes in, it might be a collaboration externally, it might be a collaboration internationally. You know, at the end of the day, if you've got a particular project, you go where you can get access to the equipment and you've got funding, and sometimes that may be on campus with other academic staff, or so, you know, we'll collaborate a lot with chemistry, with basic medical science. So there's a raft of different projects ongoing. Chemistry have done, I mean, there's a very, very good, I recommend that she actually updates it, but there's a great article that was written by Dr. Sylvia Mitchell, which is a review of all of the medicinal plant research going back to 1948, I think, up until about 2007, just before I arrived in Jamaica. But she does and it lists, you know, what plants have been researched and what type of research. That's a great paper. I can send you that, Dr. Ben, and you can share that with your.
Yeah, I'd love to share. And I want to big up Dr. Sheena Francis.
Yeah.
I was there recently, and she gave me a tour of the facility, and she shared with me something that was phenomenal. And that's a publication. I think it's a book. She shared me a book that I believe every listen to me now, guys. If you're watching, every single person that is watching this recording or watching this live, who is involved in natural products, who sells natural products, and I'm going to ask Dr. Picking to tell me. There's a book that she shared with me, and I don't know, it was maybe one of the most valuable tools that I saw when I came to NPI. And that is a book that is published that guides practitioners or persons as it relates to the contraindications of herbs and drugs. That's the book. Hold it up a little so we can see it. It's called Potential Drug Interactions. So I need to get a copy of that book, and I'm not gonna stop talking about that book on the show, because every medical doctor in Jamaica needs a copy of that book, and every single person in Jamaica who sells any natural product, whether it's something that you blend or anything, every dispensary, every herb shop, every store in Jamaica that has a health food store should have a copy of that book, because what it does is that it's based on extensive research, and it guides persons, herbs enthusiasts like those on the channel like right now, or practitioners like myself, as it relates to how to safely and responsibly take herbs from Jamaica and the Caribbean. Tell me a little bit about that book.
Yeah, so the book, so when I first arrived in Jamaica, so one of my supervisors, you know, when you're doing a PhD, you have two supervisors. So Dr. Sylvia Mitchell was one supervisor, and we did that field work, and that was her main focus. And then Professor Delgado was doing some really interesting work in drug interactions, so how medicinal plants and drugs interact. Now that can sometimes be used as a, can be kind of weaponized sometimes to say, oh, don't take bush. And I saw that firsthand. I saw that firsthand when we went around doing the survey. I interviewed an elderly retired farmer who was crippled with arthritis, and he said, oh, it's only started to get really bad in the last couple of years. And when I asked him why, because he said his doctor put him on a medication and then told him not to take bush. And I said, well, what bush were you taking? And he said turmeric, ginger. And the reality is, if the doctor had had this book and had read up on it, he wouldn't have told him not to take those plants. And those plants were ideal as anti-inflammatories for those health conditions. So the idea of the book is, as you said, to do studies. And the basis of this book is mainly what's called test tube or in vitro work, where you actually test. So when I'd finished doing the Trammell work, working very, very closely with Prof. Delgado, because she'd done a lot of this work already we shortlisted 10 plants and we ran screening on 10 plants and then focused on a couple. So that her work and then other work, this isn't just our work, this is other work as well. But the challenge is a lot of the main plants that are used, like ginkgo and garlic, turmeric, ginger, those plants are very well documented in terms of drug interactions. So doctors can,
especially in other cultures.
But the same is true for that plant here as it is for others. The challenge that we've got is a lot of our plants have never been researched. So how do we take like cerasee and other plants that we use extensively? How do we look at those plants? So that's really what we were doing with this. And Dr. Ben, again, comes down to funding. We were able to print, I think, 200 or 300 copies of this with a local printer, and we gave them away to a lot of pharmacists and doctors. But we really want to be able to update this and take it further afield and make sure that
And that's why we have this show. There are a number of persons watching in the diaspora. A lot of them want to know how they can help. These are ways that you can help. And I'll give you Dr. Picking's email address so you can reach out to him directly. You can reach out to him directly, and you can contact him and find out if this is something that you could benefit from. What's your email address, Dr. Picking? Let me just.
So DAVID.
DAVID.
David.PICKING 03 at UWIMONA
at UWI
Mona MONA, all one word, UWIMONA .edu .jm. All
right, so I'm gonna put that up on the screen so that persons can email Dr. Picking, and you can reach out to him. This is a book that I would love to, and let me know if you'd be interested in partnering with Dr. Picking. I would love to start out by getting more of this book in circulation. So there's a lot of research being done. So this is drug, nutrient, herb, nutrient, drug interactions. I mean, this was written by Jonathan Treasure, who's one of America's kind of top herbalists. But this book is pretty old now. But a lot of this information's out there and it's being updated, even to the point of doing clinical studies. That would be the ideal, where you can actually do a clinical study with healthy volunteers and test. Right. And that brings us to our we have an entity, a community called the Kinder Wellness Community. I see 53 persons on the live. There's a link in the description to join the Kinder Wellness Community, and that's a part of our goal. Part of our goal with the Kinder Wellness Community is to have a number of subgroups in it. One of them would be the scientific community. So one of the reasons why I came to the university is to get members of the scientific community to be a part of the kinder wellness community as well as the general public. What I want members of the scientific community to do is to volunteers, those persons would have the know-how as to how to carry out clinical studies, the different skill sets that are necessary for such a venture. And then the members of the public now would be those persons that would volunteer to participate in clinical studies. And so it's because part of the challenge with clinical studies is that there's so much money involved. But if we have persons who would volunteer to be a part of clinical studies, and if we have members of the scientific community who would actually conduct those clinical studies, then what we have is two groups that would help to validate more herbs. If we are going to successfully bring natural medicine in Jamaica and the Caribbean to where it ought to be, we are going to need the scientific community's involvement, and we're going to need the general public. And so that's part of the goal of the kinder wellness community. And so there's a link in the Telegram where you can join it. And then as the members of the scientific community come on board, then this is one of the projects. But right now, what I'm looking on, Marie is asking, what's the cost of the book? What's the cost of the book? Or do we have available copies of the book?
No, that was the problem. Yeah, because we produced it locally, and then we haven't been able to get the funding yet to reprint what we did would be good. But obviously, if we could, we'd want to edit it and update it, because it was a while ago that we published this.
Okay, what about electronic versions of it? Would
Yeah, we need. That was another option, is to go electronic. But yeah, we have to look at those different options.
Right. So we want to look at them. But of course, this is a book that I believe that I would want on my desk. I would definitely want a physical copy on my desk.
And that was the whole reason we did it specially coated, so pharmacists can be spilling stuff on it, and it literally, I don't know if you can see that, it literally gives the list one by one, different plants, and so it's showing you grapefruit juice.
So that we can see it.
So it's showing you.
Right. Okay. So it has the different sections and compartments.
Yeah.
That are needed.
And as we talked about, the pharmacopoeia is made up of monographs, which are detailed descriptions of a plant medicine or a pharmaceutical drug, and part of that description would be the drug interaction profile of that herb, and as you mentioned earlier, the contraindications, whether you can take during pregnancy, all of those kind of health and safety.
That's unnecessary. Before you go, because we're almost finished with this segment, talk to us about, without going into detail, we're going to have to maybe get you back to talk more about this. The policy as it relates to, because you and I, we've talked about it so many times, the policy as it relates to the future of natural products here in Jamaica. We saw some recent, and I'm gonna maybe next week or so, I'm gonna talk a little bit about natural products in Canada. We have a lot of persons who are on the show tonight from Canada, and a lot of them may not know, but a lot of them are going to be impacted by it. Tell us a little bit about the future of natural products in Jamaica and the policies surrounding that.
Well, just very, very quickly, I mean, there's a 25-year history, and I have to big up people like Dr. Diane Robertson, who's, up there in age, and she worked tirelessly with previous governments to get natural products recognized and to get herbs recognized. So actually, under Portia Simpson Miller, the Portia Simpson Miller government commissioned a group, NCST, the National Council, I can't remember the acronym, but NCST, under Professor Errol Morrison, and they pulled together a working group. The top people at Ministry of Health, their lawyers, and then some academics. I was on it, my Professor Delgado was on it, and industry players, all to look at what would be a model that could work in Jamaica. Because right now what you have is the Food and Drug Act. So Dr. Ben, as you know, if you take moringa powder and put it in a tea bag.
Yes. it's a food. Hello? Seems like we have lost Dr. Picking again. Dr. Picking? All right, so you know, so there are some serious development in Canada as it relates to natural medicine, and one of the reasons why I mentioned that is because Jamaica, the platform or the template, I should say, for the natural products, the policies that are being crafted were based on the Canada model, and so it's going to be interesting to know what is in. I would love to know exactly what is in that policy, because let me tell you what happened in Canada, while Dr. Picking is coming on. Recently in Canada, they passed a bill, and this was snuck into the population, where some sweeping regulations have been put in place, and these sweeping regulations basically have made it difficult. By next year, it's going to be difficult for persons who want natural products to get access to it. It's going to be difficult for persons who sell natural products to have natural products. As a matter of fact, I was so frightened when I saw what Canada was doing that this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this show, because a lot of persons don't know what's coming. There are some serious policies that are coming from the last situation that we had, from the last health crisis that we had. The persons in power made some serious observations. And so from the observation, I can tell you, for example, that they realized that a lot of persons did not opt to take the recommended, the recommended, I don't want to use the word, I don't want to use the V word, but you know what I'm talking about. A lot of persons did not opt to take the joke because they had alternatives. The alternatives were available in herb shops, and the alternatives were available in natural remedies. Well, they made a note of that. And so they have made some serious, I don't know, they might kill me for what I want to say to you, but they've made some serious adjustments. And these adjustments are based on the policies. One of them is that they have forcefully reduced or forced companies that produce nutraceutical products that help people. They have forced them to reduce it to food grade. I'm not going to use tonight's show to go into it, but I want to talk about it because there are some serious, when I say serious, there are some serious repercussions coming. And so one of the only solutions for that is for persons to learn herbs for themselves. The people like me who help people, they have a slew of policies that will prevent us from doing so. The companies that have these products available, they have a slew of policies for those companies not to have it anymore. And so, you know, but Dr. Picking is back. So let me bring him on. And we're not going to go into that tonight, but you were talking about the policies as it relates to nutraceuticals, or what they call natural products in Jamaica.
It's a double-edged sword, Dr. Ben, as you were saying. I just picked up the last bit of it. I mean, France, I think there's some legislation that's being passed in France, which I think is making people very, very nervous in this industry. But leaving that to one side, but the goal in Jamaica was to amend the Food and Drug Act, and that amendment has actually been sitting on Minister Tufton's desk since 2020. Now, I know he got busy with other stuff, but the hope is, but as I say, it's a double-edged sword. But if Jamaica can amend,
would you be willing, because I know that you're one of the advisors on that, would you be willing, without implicating yourself, would you be willing? Because I don't know, is it possible for the Jamaican people, is it possible for us to have an idea as it relates to what was in that policy? Can we know? Because in the case of Canada, they just implemented some policies, and the people of Canada, and they didn't know until it became effective. Is there any way
They
for us
changed
to
the
know
goalposts.
what is in that
Yeah,
policy?
from what I understand, they're moving the goalposts. So the goalposts are actually very similar to the policy and the framework that we felt actually was most appropriate for Jamaica was actually mirroring the Canadian system, because
So,
it's based
so
on
again, you're saying that when we decided to implement a policy, we were looking at the
Canadian
Canada
model.
model.
Yeah, because the Canadian model is based, it recognizes, there's a section in there that recognizes traditional knowledge and gives credence to that. And then it's all about risk benefit analysis. You're looking at, if there's a history of traditional use and safe use in human beings, then the level of rigor is less because the level of risk is less. So the policy was actually, in our view, made a lot of sense. And remember, we had pharmacists sitting on the panel, we had people like myself and others in the industry, and also people that are involved in the ganja industry. And I know that some of my colleagues in the ganja industry are very keen for this amendment to the Food and Drug Act, because it would become the food, natural health products, natural health products and Drug Act. The challenge would be if Minister, which I think he is going to gazette it and it will become law, that's our hope. The challenge for us then is to ensure that the goalposts are not then moved. Okay, because I think the framework is a reasonably good one when you look at international regulation. And I can send you, I wrote a book chapter on international regulation of botanicals. So yeah, so I think if we can get that enactment, as long as the Jamaican government then doesn't subsequently change the goalposts, then it gives, particularly ganja and other nutraceuticals, it gives us a framework within which we can work more inclusively and safely.
And we wonder why would a document like that be sitting on the minister's desk now for 4 years? Such a critical document.
It's the process. I mean, once it's been approved, a ministry has signed off on it. So ministry approved it, their lawyers approved it, and then it goes to the minister, and then there's a series of steps. But I believe, and I'm not an expert, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but I believe that it's at the final stage. And I think, again, I'm not an expert, but I believe that the Governor General, in his speaking of the business for the next Parliament, actually spoke about this enactment of the amendment to the Food and Drug Act. So I think it is in the pipeline to be enacted.
Okay, all right.
But if people have got a hotline to Minister Tufton, then they can call him and say, Minister, please make sure that it goes through, because I think it is very important. It's important for ganja and the medicinal industry around ganja. It's important for all of our other plant-based medicines.
All right. Thank you so very much, Dr. Picking, for being on with us. We've actually been on longer than we anticipated, but it was very enlightening, and I know we'll definitely invite you to come back on, because our goal is to highlight the work of NPI, now merged, as well as any other entity whose work is related to herbs and the advancement of herbs.
We have to talk about GWG and that.
And we have to talk about big up Nicola exactly. Shirley, one of my most loved person in the world. Big up Nicola. And we have to talk about GWG.
We have to talk about that, Dr. Ben, because that's the basis, the clean, getting our herbs clean and being sustainably harvested. That's a critical part. When we develop, to expand what we're doing and everything that you want to do, we have to have that groundwork in place. And I think, I
want to talk about, because the thing about Nicola and GWG and Source Farm and Ujima Market and the work that's going on over there is that Nicola is the type of person who she's like the opposite to me. I mean, she's like the opposite of what the University of the West Indies is supposed to set up to do. So rather than talking, Nicola is doing. And then the result that she produces forces more people to come on board.
And that's why we've signed the MOU between GWG and the University of the West Indies.
Yeah. So
That's the focus. A lot of my work is now focused with Nicola on that practical groundwork of
application.
how do we get
Yeah.
things that are practically applicable to support the development of the nutraceutical industry in Jamaica.
And let me just give some folks an idea of as when we talk about practical application. So Nicola Shirley, over there at GWG and Source Farm, she has successfully not only advocated what we call natural farming or farming based on eco-friendly principles, but she's one of the person that has along with her team that have worked to set up not only a farmer's market, not only to get persons theoretically, but she has successfully got training for persons who want to do organic farming. So she has successfully, through partnership with Hard Trust NTA, set up and implement a training program where persons can now be trained in organic farming. That organic farming principle has now attracted a number of farmers who now not only practice organic farming, but also have their organically farmed products available in Kingston. So if you're in Kingston or you're near Kingston, I want you to go over to Hope Gardens on a Saturday and support the farmers at Ujima Market. It's a team of clean people. Anything that you put in your mouth, you can be assured that it's properly grown because the people who do this don't just do it because of money. This is how they live their lives, and basically they're just sharing it with the rest of Jamaica. And not only in Kingston, but Ujima has plans to open a farmer's market in every parish across Jamaica, making organically grown clean foods available in supermarkets. So I want you to go over to the Ujima market on a Saturday at the Hope Gardens. David may know specifically where at Hope Gardens to maybe help me out here. But I'll know we'll get Nicola on the show. This is a woman that you have to meet. I just recently, David and I were classmates in a recent permaculture course that she had. Yeah. So I mean, and there were persons from the parish council, there were persons from different government agencies that were there. So this is the practical application that we're talking about. And so I want to big up Nicola Shirley and her team there at Source Farm and at GWG and the work that is doing there. So, we're going to showcase. This is a platform where the goal is to showcase to the rest of Jamaica and the rest of the world everything related to herbs and the advancement of natural living here in Jamaica. So I want to thank you again, David, for being on. It was so informative having you on tonight, and we look forward to having you again. You and I are going to talk, and we're going to have to talk to be very strategic as it relates to what we need to share. Some of this, and it says at the first gate, not the gate after Mona.
Yeah.
So it's at the first
before the main gate. Before the main gate. Yeah.
Thank you, Annie. So if you want to go, there are foods, there are juices, there are so many things that are there. And if you're interested in becoming an organic farmer, then you can reach out to David. David, is very connected to GWG, and we'll give you the information for Nicola and GWG and let you know how you can be a part of what's happening there. All right?
Dr. Ben, God bless you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Nice having you. Bye-bye. All right, so that was Dr. David Picking from the University of the West Indies, and it was good having him on. We see 47 persons on, and we're having such a wonderful time. There's so much that needs to be done here in Jamaica. There's so much that needs to be done, we want to feature what needs to be done. I have my son in the studio tonight. Joshua, and he's going to be coming and talking to us about the upcoming ICM Herb Walk Retreat that he's putting on. He's a young man, and he has a passion. He's my firstborn, so you're gonna get a chance to meet my firstborn tonight and maybe ask some questions. So while he's coming, let me just share with you what we call our product spotlight. So this is a feature within our program tonight. It's called Product Spotlight. And tonight, I want you to pay attention to what is going to be shared. The benefits of the amazing gallbladder and liver flush of our product spotlight. And today, we saw it fit to begin this program by looking at a phenomenal product, a product that we talk about a lot here at Hallelujah Lifestyle Wellness Center, and that is the amazing gallbladder and liver flush. So I have the amazing gallbladder and liver flush, and it is two. The medicine is basically in two parts. And this medicine, it has to be made fresh, and so it can't be made and shipped. And because of that, we have made it instructions available for persons to get it so that they can make it for themselves as well as for their families. And so I wanted to talk about, in just a few minutes, I wanted to talk about the benefits of the amazing gallbladder and liver flush. As a matter of fact, I want to share with you 5 phenomenal benefits of the amazing gallbladder and liver flush. And one of them is that because the liver has so many functions, the liver is implicated in digestion, mainly for fat metabolism. Cleansing the liver has been reported to have phenomenal benefits for persons who may be having issues with obesity, or maybe having problems digesting fat, or who may have issues benefiting from fat-soluble vitamins. So phenomenal claims have been made about the liver flush. So if you're looking to detoxify the body, this may be one of the best options for you. And because of the ingredients in the amazing gallbladder and liver flush, it is an amazing laxative. And so we have seen phenomenal results from that. Also, it is a phenomenal product in detoxifying the body. I said to the person, this is one of the absolutely best detoxifying product that I know out there. And as I said, in our video tutorial, we give detailed instruction as to how to make the amazing gallbladder liver flush, as well as how to take it to see maximum benefits. It also aids in giving mental clarity and energy. A lot of persons who are sluggish, a lot of persons who are struggling with low energy, then the amazing gallbladder and liver flush might be what you need to get your energy up. The fourth reason and fourth benefit of the amazing gallbladder and liver flush is the fact that it aids in allowing you to have clean and radiant skin. And so a lot of persons who have skin issues, who have psoriasis, a number of skin issues, will definitely benefit from the amazing gallbladder and liver flush. And the fifth and last reason that we're going to look at for the amazing gallbladder liver flush is that it helps in persons losing weight. And so this is a phenomenal product, and we have all the instructions in our video. Persons have reported so many benefits. As a matter of fact, from myself and my family, this is one of the things that we routinely do every single year. As a matter of fact, we do it 3 times per year. And so this product is a phenomenal product because, as I said, the liver has so many functions. Some of the functions of the liver are primary functions. We have persons who have had issues with infertility. We have persons who have had issues with mental fog that have taken this product and have seen phenomenal results. And as I said, if you want to start your detox program, I recommend starting your detox program with the amazing gallbladder and liver flush. And no, nothing has to be wrong with your gallbladder. Nothing has to be wrong with your liver. And so when you take this amazing flush, you are going to also pass out gallstones. And so if there was a 6th benefit of the amazing gallbladder and liver flush, is that it helps to remove gallstones from the body. These stones sometimes can end up being lodged in the gallbladder and sometimes may even require surgery. And that, of course, is not something that you would want. There are so many persons, not to mention the pain that is associated with it. And so the gallbladder and liver flush is one of the best ways to remove gallstones. Of course, before you try any natural product, there are risks involved. There may be risk involved. And so this is not necessarily for everyone. And so before you try any health or product regimen, please consult your healthcare provider for advice to find out if this is right for you. Until next time, this is Dr. Ben Israel for Product Spotlight saying, your health is your responsibility. And the greatest weapon against sickness and disease is education, not medication. Bye-bye. Sorry, so all this time I was talking, no sound. Thank you, Charmaine. So I'm here with my son Joshua, and he's here to talk to us about the upcoming ICM wellness. So watch here, watch yourself here, so not let it cut off. All right, so you have to come over closer to me. Good. So he's here to talk to us. Blue Wave, nice to have you, Blue Wave. So he's here to talk to us about the upcoming ICM wellness herb walk retreat. What should somebody look for in the upcoming? Or first of all, I should ask you why. What's the main vision? What's the objective? What do you want to achieve from this herb walk retreat?
Well, for one, we want to get persons to, have an idea of what it's like to be out into the wild, and to experience, herbs more hands-on, and to gain knowledge on how to prepare herbs and how to harvest it. So that's basically a brief.
Okay, right. I see Yassar. Yassar is on. Welcome, Yassar. Yassar is all the way in Laos. I'm going to be with Yassar this week. So this week I'm going to Yassar. So I'll be streaming live from over there in Laos. That's close to Vietnam. I'm going to be with Yassar for a while. I hope to interact with a number of traditional herbalists there. So welcome, Yassar. So you're saying that you want to see more people, especially young people,
Yes, exactly.
interact with herbs in the live state.
Gain a little knowledge on how to prepare herbs and to identify them.
Good.
Yeah.
What about, is it just going to be herbs? Is there any fun component, anything else that's involved?
As also will be based on the herbs that will be gathering and identifying. We'll encourage persons to learn how to prepare concoctions from these herbs.
Mm-hmm.
We want to also help persons to learn different formulations
And also
remedies.
and also to know edible herbs, because
Exactly.
the goal is not just to look at
That is
herbs for medicine, but herbs as food, because your food should be a medicine.
That is true.
So we're gonna be looking at not only the medicinal benefits of herbs, but we're gonna be looking at your foot.
Sorry.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. So we're also going to be looking at the benefits of identifying herbs that are edible, because a lot of times we see what about picking herbs on the full moon? So we're going to be talking about that, and there's a link in the description, guys. Look in the description. Move a little bit more if you always watch this. So there's a link in the description where you can register for the upcoming herb walk and retreats. There's a link in the description. So go down there and let's come out in today's video. You saw us basically finding that water hole. We're gonna hike to that water hole. We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, sorry to cut you, but that's also our next experience we want to encourage people to have, to go outside and to interact with nature, that hiking experience, it's fun, I can tell you. And to, be out there in the wild, we are human. I also believe that as human beings, we are connected to nature. And at times, when we are living in such a, how would you call it? What's the word?
Metropolitan.
Yes,
but
metropolitan.
But we live in a world now where people are so connected to smartphones and devices
and all these technology.
And it's a good way to bond with your child. So so it's not just for adults. If you're coming to the herb walk retreat, it's a time where you can come with your children, come with your child, come with your loved ones, and just bond. I see Vitality Trends. I see Adriana on. Welcome, Adriana. Adriana is also a student of herbs, one of my students, and she's one of those persons that loves nature. So it's nice to have your Adriana. She was just here in Jamaica, but and she also shared did a herb walk. Yeah, so she was here and she did an herb walk with us, and that was phenomenal. So she had that experience. Yeah. So we really want to encourage this herb walk to be a family event.
Very much so. Very much.
All right. So the link is in the description, guys. All you have to do is go ahead and register. And once you register,
any questions you would want to ask, you can send it across.
All right. Yeah. So my son is asking, does anybody have any question as it relates to the herb walk retreat that's coming up? You can just quickly post that and he'll answer that before we move on to our next segment. Anybody have any question as it relates to the herb walk retreat? It's $20.
Yes.
US.
So we'll be having it in package, 2 different packages. So it will be one with lunch and one without lunch. It's gonna be for an entire day. It would be from 9 a.m. in the morning to 3 o'clock p.m. So the price for the herb walk only would be $20.
That's $20 US.
Yes. And with lunch, it would be a cost of $45.
Right. And so for that $20, it's going to include all the material that they're going to need.
Yes.
All right. So all of what you're going to need as material for the herb walk, then you're going to get that. And then for those persons who want food, and let me talk about the food. The food is going to be live food, and Annie's asking when. What
so the date would be on the 23rd of June. That's next month coming. So the 23rd. So you can write that down.
Right. It's a Sunday, I think. Sunday the 23rd. So put that on your calendar. And I was talking about the food. So the food is going to be live food. When I come back on, we're gonna have some images of live food.
And he's not talking about literal walking food, So let's get that.
We're talking about So
it's healthy food.
Healthy food. So it's gonna be healthy food. Food that has been that will get you up. Energized. All right. So that boy said, love Portland, my place, Portland, Tony, in December, January, pure rain. Sandy Anderson, who is actually my cousin, says, hi, cuz, you are doing a good job. I would like to be a part of the herb walk. I love nature. Sandy, you need to be there. You need to bring my little cousin. You and husband need to come, and my little baby cousin need to come. And it needs to be a fun event. It needs to be a fun event. I did today's recording, and I had a medical doctor with me, and that will be here next week. So I had a medical doctor with me, and I had a nurse with me on today's herb walk. So it was interesting to see how intriguingly interested they were as it relates to herbs. So you have to be there. You have to be there. You have to be there. So Annie says she would love to attend. Yeah, man. You have to be there. If you're in Kingston, if you're in Montego Bay, let us know if we need to, because it's you can come and you can go back home, or you can come and stay over. All right. Also, we have the whole goal is for us to upgrade to just having it as a one-day event.
That is it.
For it to become, a weekend.
Yeah, we're trying to make it monthly thing
Yeah, monthly event
as much as
as
possible.
much as is possible
And to implement also different locations across the island.
across the island. So we plan not to have it only in Portland, but to have it across the island. We have tents. The next move is to upgrade from just a day of herb walk to a weekend where persons can come and overnight in tent, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Joshua.
Yeah, man, a pleasure meeting you guys, and thank you, Doc, for having me. Ooh, sorry again. Looking forward to meeting you guys.
All right.
And interacting with new persons who are interested. And I'm hoping to see a lot of young persons
Coming out.
Yes, very much so. Because we really want to, make this how would I say, an experience for young persons. Let them to also know that, this industry is not just for the elderly person.
Yeah, but for young people as well.
There's so
because
much to learn. It's such a good thing to know what is good for your body and how to treat it. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of young persons and to learn a lot of new things and experiences.
Thank you, Joshua. All right, so guys, we tonight. I'm sorry. Peace and blessings, Bison Adams from Facebook. Thank you for joining us. Myrtella Tate. Are there herbs to lose weight? Yes, there are herbs to lose weight. There are a lot of herbs that you can take to lose weight, but we don't just want to look at herbs to lose weight. We want to look at the lifestyle. What type of lifestyle? What type of diet you're on that is not making it possible to you to lose herbs. So rather than just looking at herbs to lose weight, we want to start out by looking at what type of lifestyle are you involved in that has caused you to gain so much weight, because really and truly your medicine is supposed to be your food. I want to encourage persons to go on over to our website. It's ICM Wellness Marketplace. We have some phenomenal products there for cleanse, for detoxification, for nutrients, you name it, we have it there. And I want to apologize tonight. The segment that we should be going into next is our wellness report. I got a message from our guests that they were not able to make it tonight. I'm gonna see how I can restructure and make that possible for our next show. He was supposed to come on tonight, and he was supposed to talk to us about how he was able to successfully reverse stage 4 cancer. And Robert, hey, good night. My big brother is on.
Hey, uncle.
Robert Herlock. That's my bigger brother. That's my biggest brother. Good job to my brother and nephew. He's on tonight. I haven't seen him in quite some time.
Very long.
But it's good to have you tonight, Robert. Good to have you tonight on the show. We need to connect. We need to connect. But he's not going to be on tonight, but on our website, ICM Wellness Marketplace, it's on the screen, it's running across the screen, ICM Wellness Marketplace. When you go there, there are some juices that was critical to his program in helping him to reverse stage 4 cancer. And so the juices on the site, if you know of anyone that has critical health condition, I do have access to the protocol. It wasn't just the juice, so it's not a miracle juice in and by itself. But the juice is on the site. You can go there and get it. It's the Lviv Red. It's the Lviv Red. And last week we spoke about some of the ingredients in that program. If you missed it, you can go back and watch last week's show. But some phenomenal testimonies are coming about the benefits of these fruits, mangosteen and acai berry and pomegranate. Some phenomenal results are being shared about this juice. So if you're interested, you can go on over on our website and you can read up on it. We also have our brand of products, which is the Hallelujah Lifestyle Botanicals. That's right below that, Hallelujah Lifestyle Botanicals, where we have some phenomenal products, all made from natural ingredients. Depending on the health issue that you're having, you can go on over there and you can check it out. So tonight, guys, was my second show. I'm gonna not just finish up, but we were taking some questions. So I want to go back into taking some questions because this is actually a live Q&A. My goal is to get our phone lines up where persons can call in and they can ask their questions. I'm working on getting that up. But if there's any question that anyone has, they can go ahead and they can ask their questions as it relates to any health concerns that they have as it relates to any herb. You can go on. There are some links in the description. I'm going to be in Florida the 17th to the 21st, and I'm going to be in New York the 10th to the 15th of June. So immediately after coming back from Laos, I go into Florida and I go into New York to share with my pastor friend over there in New York, in Brooklyn. So if it is that you would want to meet up with me, those two, there are two forms that were supposed to be in the description. It's not there, but there's a contact form that is there. So if it is that you would want to meet up with me in Florida or in New York, or you know of somebody who would like to, then please go ahead, fill that out, and I'd love to connect with you when I come to New York or Florida. All right. So does anyone have any other question for us tonight, as it relates to your health, as it relates to our herb, as it relates to healthcare? Just shoot it. But while persons are thinking, I do want to talk about this. Dr. Picking brought up. I mean, some of you wouldn't even know how important what is shared tonight is. As I said, that there are some serious sweeping regulations that are coming for Canada as it relates to natural products. And next week, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that, those sweeping, those products. Please give clarity on anti-cancer herbs. So many people are dying. Bet boy. Now, one of the things that I say with anti-cancer herbs is that there are different types of cancers, right? And there is no one approach to cancer. Can I get your telephone number, Darren Shaw? No, Darren, I don't want to make, I'm not going to make that mistake again, because when I give up my number, we are flooded with calls. So there's a contact form in the description. Just go to the contact form, fill it out, and we'll contact you within 24 hours. So tomorrow morning, I'll be contacting. As a matter of fact, let me just go to the contact form. Let me show you that I can see those persons who have contacted us so far. So there are persons, these are persons that I'm going to be getting, I'm going to be responding to tomorrow, that have so far reached out to us and they have asked us questions, right? They have reached out to us and they've asked us questions. So just so that you know, I'm going to look at some of those names and I can tell you what the questions are. If you have private questions, personal questions, then this is the platform that you want to use to reach out to me. You want to reach me on this platform because I'm able to better serve you by answering your questions and relating to you. So there's a link in the description. Please go to the description, fill out the forms, and that is the absolute best way in reaching out to me. You know, we've been giving out our numbers, and it has been crazy. It has been a literal nightmare. We have not been able to respond to all the calls. Most persons call us, miss us. We don't want that to happen. If it is that you reach out to us in this format, then we will definitely get back to you as soon as possible. I have a team in place now that helps me in doing that. So as early as tomorrow, they're going to get busy and they're going to start reaching out to you. If it is that I need to talk to you, I'll talk to you. If it is that you just need more information, they'll give you that information. All right. So any questions? Hi, Charmaine, my daughter is with me. She was just told she has scoliosis. Please touch on this briefly. Now, scoliosis, which is the curvature of the spine. I don't know how old your daughter is, but depending on the age of your daughter, there is a strap that you can get that can help to bring it back into alignment. Of course, because this is a physical condition, then, oh, she's 27. Well, she's past the age. But of course, what you need to do is you need to go to a chiropractor. They can do some amount of remediative work to help in aligning her back. All right. But for this, there are not any herbs that can help with that in particular. There are herbs that can help with the effects of the scoliosis. There are herbs that can help with reducing the pain. There are herbs that can help with reducing the inflammation. So that can be done using herbs. But as it relates to the scoliosis itself, very little can be done because of her age. But whatever little that can be done, the best person to seek would be a chiropractor. All right? So she needs to see a chiropractor. Let me just go to the form and I can tell you who have filled it out so far. So this is actually the best way to reach out to us. If it is that you want to contact us, telephone is not the best way. And I absolutely hate that. Anybody else has any question tonight? Dr. Ben, what if I don't have card? Can I pay cash? Probably through the bank if I want to order something. Yeah, you can, of course, Marlene. Reach out to us. Let us know if you're having any issue. All right, and we have Zelle. We have I assume you're in Jamaica, but we do have bank options. But if you're in the US, we have Zelle. We have Cash App. We have multiple ways where persons can reach out to us. All right, Betty Boy, please give clarity on anti-cancer herbs. So many people are dying. There are and it depends on the cancer because there are different types of cancer, Betty Boy, and so it depends on, it's a soft tissue cancer, bone cancer, cancer of the lymphatic system. Different cancers warrant different approaches. All right, so and that now is going to determine what type of herb you need, because the herb needed is going to be based on the action of the herb that you're looking for. All right, so it varies. All right, so let me look at my contact form. Let me see who has contacted us so far. So I have persons reaching out to me. I have all right, let me tell you who's the last person that reached out to me. So the last person is Nakita Johnson. And I can see a question. I can see a telephone number. I can see everything is there, guys. So that's the absolute. So I'm seeing a lot of correspondence. My team has a lot of work tomorrow to do. Hi, Dr. Ben, would you love to get some information on how to go about getting the body detox, especially the liver? So I see so many questions there. So the best way to get through to me, guys, is by filling out the form in the description. Hi, Dr. Ben, how can I get the recipe for the liver and gallbladder flush? That's a question from Errol Barnes. Errol, there's a link in the description of this video. And let me tell you what the link is. Now, the liver flush is not something that can be made on shelf. It has to be made fresh. So the link in the description is teaching you how to make it for yourselves, because we believe that one of the best ways to help somebody is educating them. Most persons would not share this ingredient with you. Most persons would not share this recipe with you, because in our clinics, we actually sell this. So we actually sell this in all our clinics. And so we could have decided to say, well, I'll have to find somebody to get it to you. No, we want to share this information with you, because what we want is we want you to be able to make it for yourself as well as other members of your family. So, doctor, could you talk a bit about coconut oil and ketones? I understand it is helpful for dementia patients. It's helpful to dementia patients, better than sugar. Welcome, Stefano and Geku from London. It's nice to have you tonight. Yes, coconut oil is rich in acids that are, because your brain, by the way, is mostly made up of cholesterol. So what nourishes the brain is cholesterol. And of course, we've been told that cholesterol is bad. You know, cholesterol has gotten a lot of flagging over the years. And there's two types of cholesterol. There is HDL, which is high density lipoprotein, and then there's LDN, low density lipoprotein. So cholesterol is a form of protein. Now, every part of the body is made up of protein and is made up of different types of protein. So the protein that is beneficial for the eye is not the same protein that is beneficial for the brain. And so protein in the forms of fat help the brain to function. When a person has dementia, it is the protein matter that makes up the brain that is under that is not where it should be. And so one of the ways that we supplement or nourish the protein that makes up the brain is through oils in the form, and most of this healthy protein is found in coconut oil, all right? Especially cold pressed coconut oil. How to cure varicocele? Not familiar with that, Stefano. Not familiar with that at all. I've never heard about that. Some people think I know everything. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. How to cure? How do you have an outlet in Kingston? So, Annie, we did have an outlet in Kingston. We just closed down our office in Ligani Lane Plaza. We're in New Kingston. We just closed that down because personal reasons. One of them is because I spend too much time traveling and I spend too much time going around, which is one of the reasons why I've come up with a program like this, because I help more people by giving out information than I do by seeing people. As much as I love seeing people and helping them, I'm going to choose the option that allows me to help more people. So it was very difficult for me to travel back and forth. I had 4 clinics, one in St. Anne's Bay, one in Portland, one in Kingston, and one in Morant Bay. It was just too much. What is the address for our St. Anne's Bay location? The St. Anne's location is 4 Roy Street. So I'm at 4 Roy Street in St. Anne's Bay. I'm at 6 Boundbrook Avenue in Port Antonio, Portland. And I'm at 5 Church Street in Morant Bay. So I'll come into Kingston if I can get a location in Kingston where I can come and see persons. I'm putting that out there. I will come into Kingston if I can get a location where I can see persons from. And I'll do that. So if there's anybody watching, if you have a location in Kingston and you'd love for me to come and work from that location, then I'd love to come. So yeah, 4 Roy Street in St. Anne's Bay. The same street that JPS is on is where we're at in St. Anne's Bay. Are you, Doctor, do you have any powerful combination for damaged brain nerves? Yeah, foods rich in omega-3, 6, and 9 is good. There's a herb called very rich in omega-3, 6, and 9. We know of flaxseed, but there's a herb that grows wild here in Jamaica. It's called purslane. We call it parsley or parsley. Yeah, very good for the brain. Is the inflammation of the veins in the testicles time is okay. Thank you, Stefano. Now you're talking. Inflammation of the veins in the testicles time to time. So if you're having inflammation, we need to look at what's causing that inflammation. One of the things that we've done is we've used ozone therapy to help a persons with a number of testicular issues. So Stefano, I don't know where you're from. I believe you're in England. Watch your face, Josh. I believe you're in England. Come on, some more. I believe you're in England. So I would say to you, research to find out if there are any ozone therapy outlets there in England. Find out if there's any ozone therapy outlets there in England. And if you do find one, then reach out to me and let me know. And I'll guide you to guide them as to what you can do for that. All right? When you're coming to St. Anne, Alfred Henry, I'm not coming to St. Anne until I come back to Jamaica. I'll be off the island the 23rd. That's this week coming. and I'll be back the 21st of June. So after the 21st of June, I'll let you know. But again, reach out to me in the link and let me know. You know, and we can communicate. I'll let me put that question in the link, and my assistant will follow up on that. All right, so put that in the link. All right, so we have 45 persons on. I was and at one point I believe we reached over 50. So tonight was good. Last week we had I don't remember 30 something. So we are growing. Guys, you know, and my hope is that this will become a community. I hope to be on every Sunday night at 7. And I hope to grow this into a community where we can serve you guys. So please get the word out. Tell other persons that we are on, and we're looking forward. We're looking forward to serving you. As I said, we have a number of segments that we weren't able on this tonight to get up and running, but hopefully next week we'll be able to get that up. I want to write to your WhatsApp. Okay. Yeah, can you imagine, Stefano? That's the reason why I have the phone, because there are so many persons who contact me on WhatsApp. I'm just able to touch and run. I'm not able to give the attention. So I would say to you, book a consultation, because we have ozone therapy is very effective as it relates. I had a gentleman in St. Thomas whose testicles were swollen. His testicles were swollen. Young man, I believe he's in his 30s. And he came and we did one therapy of ozone, one session of ozone therapy with him. And up until now, he has never been back. Never been back. All right. So I know that it can help. And I think I did one more therapy this week. And I'm yet to follow up with that person to find out what's happening. But I can tell you, Stefano, if you can find somebody in England that does ozone therapy, then I can guide you, or I can tell them what would be a very good approach for that testicular inflammation that you're having. What is milk thistle and artichoke good for? Martella Tater. Milk thistle, thistle is especially good for the liver, and artichoke is good for the cardiovascular system. Those are two herbs that, when combined, are very good for the liver and for the cardiovascular system, and overall helps just increase the amount of antioxidants in the body and help to get you on the more alkaline side. So artichoke is in Canada, I know this is sold in cans. It's very good for the heart. For persons who have high blood pressure, artichoke is very good. All right, so you can check that out. Because of that, I have low sperm count, right? Because the sperms have to be in an ideal setting, you know. So if there's inflammation, then your sperm count is going to be low. So definitely book a consultation in the link, and I will love to follow up with you. Guys, I want to thank you. We did 1 hour and 48 minutes on the live. And that's good. My goal was to go up to 2 hours. So I'm willing to take maybe about some more questions for the next 10 minutes. Because of that, I have low sperm count. Yeah. I don't know your age. If you don't have a family, then that's of concern. And there are herbs that you can take that can boost your sperm count. All right. There are herbs that you can take to boost your sperm count. All right. So yes, you're welcome, Stefano. So reach out to me in the chat. See if we can book a consultation. I'm free. I have some slots free tomorrow and Tuesday. After Tuesday, I won't be able to take any more consultation until, I believe, further down the week, because I'll be traveling. What is Search Me Heart used for? Can imagine the name speaks for part of it. Search Me Heart. You know, today's herb walk, I came across some Search Me Heart. But Search Me Heart is used when you feel Search Me Heart on the bottom side, at the underside of the leaf. You can literally feel the gum. You know, like when you feel marijuana, all that resin. The leaves are very resinous, but it's a decongestion, and it helps for persons with cold. It helps to remove mucus out of the body. It's a herb that likes high altitude because it's helpful for the lungs. It's a herb for the lungs. All right, that's what it's mostly used for. But there are other reasons, but mostly that's what it's used for. What can be helpful for PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome? Thank you for subscribing, Stefano. Now, polycystic ovarian syndrome is very common, and it's very common in a lot of young ladies. A lot of the times, you know, I see what can be helpful. So we have a product called Wombs Cleanse. So any herb that's a uterine or a nervine, any herbs like vervain, dog blood, cat's tongue, any herb that's a uterine, periwinkle. These are herbs that are very good for the PCOS. But here's another simple fix: castor oil pack. So over the area where the ovary, not the ovary, the ovary is, over the area of the ovary, you can get castor oil pack, and you can put it over that area, and it will help tremendously in relieving the effects of PCOS. I'm going to do a show talking about uterine fibroids and issues affecting women. I'm going to do a show on that coming up. I want to thank you for allowing me to be on tonight. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, just hit the subscription button. Trevor Brooks. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, if you're on Facebook and you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, I encourage you to go over to YouTube, and I encourage you to subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, as I said, then the forms are there. Just a quick reminder, I will be in New York from the 10th to the 15th, Bronx, and I will be in Florida from the 17th to the 21st. All right? Yeah, I'm gonna look it up, Stefano. I'm gonna look it up as soon as I get off. But as I said, for some of you, just please fill out the form so that I can follow up with you. Because it's difficult to know, especially now, it's very difficult to relate to person. So filling out the form is a structure that helps me to follow through, and booking consultation is another way of being a part of my structure. All right, so that helps me. This week I was on the phone with a lady for 1 hour, and I missed 2 consultations because I couldn't just hang up on the person because they were really pouring out to me. But at the same time, somebody who booked a consultation maybe and was waiting was prevented from benefiting from that, and that's not something that I want to do. So the best way to keep me structured is for persons to book consultations. All right. So it's very important. Cynthia B says, I believe you. My mom just recovered from pneumonia, and I made tea with Search Me Heart with ginger, and it helped a lot. Jean Stoney says, ozone therapy help with fighting against chronic infections such as Lyme disease, Epstein, the Epstein-Barr virus. And you'd be amazed the many benefits that we've seen from ozone therapy. It's a part of what we do here. So, guys, I want to thank you for being on tonight. It was a very lively and interactive discussion. As I said, we'd love to see you June 23?
Yes, the 23rd.
23rd of June?
Yes.
We'd love to see you being a part. And we're going to be videoing that herb walk. So, you know, the rest of the world, you know, we'll be able to see that. All right. So come on, let's have some fun. And I look forward to seeing you next time on our natural alternative show. Look forward to seeing you guys. and I feel that we've made a lot of accomplishment on our second show. Hopefully next week, my goal is I'm gonna be in Laos, so I'm not gonna be in Jamaica with all my structure around me, but I'm gonna see what happens. I'd love to have our telephone up and running so we can take calls.
Yes.
Right? We'd love to be able to take calls. And what?
Interact with.
And interact with you guys. And I want to be more structured as it relates to the different segments, because by the way, this is a 2-hour show and I intend to repurpose the video. So it's very difficult for persons to sit down and watch a 2-hour show. So on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, my goal is to repurpose this 2-hour video and cut it up into segments where persons can watch what's applicable to them or what they're interested in. So guys, I want to thank you for being on. It was my pleasure, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, Sunday at 7 on the Natural Alternative Live Q&A. This is Dr. Ben and
Joshua Hurla.
signing out. See you guys next week. Bye-bye, guys. See you.